Hello, everyone. Board Game Lawyer. It is a wonderful Monday evening. What makes Monday so wonderful this week? Well, I actually feel well enough to film some playthrough videos, and so I'm looking forward to getting back into that. But also, I received in the mail today a brand new release, Gambit, the Gambit Hero Pack, and I'm looking forward to cracking this open, looking at the new cards, and playing around with it. So hopefully, I'll be able to do a playthrough video right after I open up and sleeve all the cards here. So follow along as we enjoy Gambit. So let's take a look at the back of his pack. He says that he has cards that can be added to any Marvel Champions hero deck, as we would expect. He also comes with a new modular set that can be added to scenarios. And there's a Nemesis set, which features Belladonna. So let's take a look at these cards. Feels like we've been waiting for months to get these. Let me get open that little piece of tape here that normally always fools me when opening up the pack. All right, so we got that. Good. Let's see if we can crack this open here. All right, got it open. And of course, we expect to find some rules and a poster inside. So let's take a look at our poster, our artwork on the front. And there is Gambit. All right, let's look at the back and see if there's any new rules that we need to be concerned about when playing with the Gambit Hero Pack. So we have a little bit of lore, it looks like, here about Gambit. It looks like he has the keyword piercing in there, also the keyword ranged. If we been playing for a while, we understand what those keywords are. Also the team up keyword, we've seen that one before, and a new keyword, villainous. So really these would all be new if you only had the core set, but if you've been playing for quite some time, these are all keywords that have shown up in the past, so I won't spend a lot of time reading those. We'll just get right to the cards. All right. See if I can keep from dropping everything in all the excitement. So, of course, we got our little knife here, and we'll carefully open our pack. I'll do it off to the side in case I draw blood. I haven't done that in a while, but I definitely don't want to get it all over my brand new cards, right? And wouldn't it be bad? So, here we go. Free from its plastic prison is Gambit cards. All right, let's take a look and see what we got here. I also got my sleeves over here to the side. We'll sleeve them as we go. So here's Gambit. We'll look at his hero card first. It looks like, let me make sure we're zoomed in here. Okay, we got the zoom on. We got the focus on. Good. All right, so Gambit, he says that he has charged a card as an action. And it says place one charge counter here. Limit once per round. Then we've got Throaty card, which is an interrupt. It says when you play an attack event, remove up to 3 charge counters from here. That event deals +1 damage for each counter removed. Okay, so we're going to be adding counters to Gambit. I always like it when we add counters to our hero card. That's fun. So we place one here. That's an action. Place one here on his turn. All right, good. So that we know how that works. Now let's look at his alter ego side. He is Remy LeBeau. He is an alter ego. He has 3 recovery. He is a mutant and a thief. On his other side, he is a thief and an X-Men with 1 thwart, 2 attack, and 3 defense. All right, but on this side, it says thief extraordinaire, action, thwart. Thwart, exhaust Remy LeBeau, and look at the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. Discard one of those cards. Remove threat from a scheme equal to the number of boost icons on that card. All right, so ability to remove threat when you're in alter ego form. I like it. Okay, and so I'm going to put a double-sided sleeve or a clear sleeve onto, it's a Dragon Clear Classic. That's what I use for my heroes. Those are nice, sturdy sleeves. And I like the Dragon Shields. I have my whole collection in Dragon Shields. All right, so we have Gambit here. Let's take a look at his ally in his hero kit. That's Rogue, She has a 2 to attack, aerial, and an X-Men. Reduce the cost to play rogue by 1 for each charge counter on your identity. And she comes into play with toughness on it. And she has a... oh, all right. So we have... sorry, my cat's banging on the door, wanting in. Yep. All right. So she's got... wild resource. Let me find my sleeves here. Okay. So we're going to use for our hero cards the Night Blue Matte Dragon Shields. They come in a box of 100. I really like the Dragon Shield Night Blues. I'm a little bit disappointed, though. It looks like that might be a color that they're getting ready to discontinue. So I'm having a little bit difficult time finding these now, believe it or not. Finding a place that has these in stock. So I guess that's just what happens when you like something, right? So... all right, there's Rogue. She costs 4 to put her out, but of course she gets reduced by 1 for each charge counter. We knew how they work on Gambit there. So then we have the Thieves Guild. We just have one of these in here, and it reads Alter Ego Resort, or Alter Ego Response. Alter Ego Response. It's a support. After you resolve your Thief Extraordinaire ability, exhaust the Thieves Guild, remove 1 threat from a scheme. If this removes the last threat from that scheme, draw 1 card. All right. I love drawing cards. So that looks like something that I will be looking for in my mulligan. All right, next card is, we just have one of these. It's Gambit Staff. It's an upgrade, item, weapon, hero interrupt. When an enemy attacks, exhaust Gambit Staff, deal 1 damage to the enemy. So it's like when an enemy attacks. So it's not really retaliate, because that would be after it's over with, but it says when an enemy attacks, exhaust the staff and deal 1 damage to the enemy. So like that. All right, that's very nice. Also, we have Gambit's Guild Armor. It also is an upgrade. It costs 1. It is an armor item. Hero response. After Gambit defends an attack and takes no damage, exhaust Gambit Guild's armor and ready Gambit. Okay, so it's a way to ready. So maybe a good card to play in protection. All right, good. All right, so we have charge card. Oh, we have more than one. We have actually 3 of these. Charge card, let's read that. It says it's an attack and it's a superpower. So it'll work with Death Focus. It costs 2. It is an event and it's a hero action. Deal 4 damage to an enemy for this attack. If Gambit's throw decard ability removed at least 1 counter, this attack gains ranged. 2 counters, this attack also gains piercing, and 3 counters, this attack also gains overkill. So it's a way to charge up. Okay, charge up the attack by removing, when we attack, these charge counters. Okay, so we got 3 of those in his kit. Okay, feels like we're almost halfway through already. 15 cards. All right. Royal Flush is the next card on deck. And it reads, oh, we got more than one. We got 2 of them. It says attack superpower, another superpower. All right. It costs 3. It's an event, hero action. Place 1 charge counter on Gambit. Okay. And then deal 0 damage to an enemy. Deal 0 damage to an enemy. Deal 0 damage to an enemy. So when we do the attack, we place 1 counter on there. And this says that when we play an attack event, remove up to 3 charge counters from here. That event deals +1 damage for each counter removed. So you can remove 3 counters, and you could do 3 times 3 damage. So 9 damage max, looks like, with this card. And I'm assuming you can use the charge counter that you just put on there. That's not really... I'm going to have to ask about that one. Because usually it says when you do something, that's when you do it. But when you do that, that's when you do that. So, yeah. I'm assuming that you can use that one that you just added to it. So at least you're going to get 3 damage off for 3 cost. It is superpower, so you can reduce that cost, I believe, using Death Focus, if you were able to put that out. Okay, then we have Natural Agility. We have 2 of those. Another superpower. It's an event. Hero interrupt. Defense. When you defend against an attack, place 1 charge counter on Gambit. For each charge counter on Gambit, you get +1 defense for that attack. Okay, so that works really nicely with the card that we read earlier, a defend card. All right, so we have natural agility. Like it. Creel Charmer. Next card on deck. We have 1, 2 of these. And it is an alter ego action. Remove 3 threat from a scheme. Okay, so we're removing threat and alter ego. I like it. If this removes the last threat from that scheme, confuse the villain. So you can hang out in alter ego, it looks like, for quite some time, maybe, if you can get these things to line up just right. They're a little bit expensive, though. It's not a superpower, so you can't reduce it necessarily. But anyway, we'll find some money, hopefully, for that. Our next card is Molecular Acceleration. And look at that. There's some money on there. 2 resources on this card. I mean, these we probably got 2 of these. Yep, it says when you spend this card, place 1 charge counter. Or place 1 charge counter on Gambit. So it's another way to charge up Gambit, but it also makes him rich. Because these are resources that you can use to play, not just colored cards, aspect cards, but also cards in his hero kit. So, like, for example, you can use that to pay for the Creel Charmer. When you spend this card, charge counter on Gambit. So, but it has to be on Gambit. Okay. All right. So that's all the cards in his hero kit. There must be 15 cards here. Very nice. So it looks like he comes with Justice as his aspect. So let's take a look at these cards. So here's our ally. He's Bishop. He has a thwart of 2, an attack of 0. And you're going to take 2 damage if you attack for 0. So there must be something with the star here. Let's look at his card. He is an X-Men. Costs 3 to put out, 3 health. Response, after an enemy attacks you, place 1 energy counter here. After an enemy attacks you, so whenever he attacks Gambit, then he gets an energy counter. When Bishop attacks, remove each energy counter from him. For each counter discarded this way, he gets +2 attack for this attack to a maximum of 6. Okay, so that's why you can keep him on the table as you're attacked, and that'll really jump up his attack, his ATK. All right, great. That's a nice card. Then we have Dazzler. She's an ally, costs 4, 2 thwart, 2 attack. X-Men, 3 health. Response, after Dazzler enters play, confuse an enemy. I like it. I like it. Confusing an enemy just for showing up. So that's Dazzler. So that's all that we've got is so far just 3 allies in his kit. Operative skill. Uses 3 operative counters, max 1 per player. Interrupt. When you thwart, remove 1 operative counter from here. That thwart removes 1 additional threat. So it costs 2. It's got 3 uses. Max 1 per player. You can only have 1 on the table at a time. And how many do you get? You get 3 of them in your kit here. So operative skill is the card. Very nice. That's not too bright. You can see okay. Next, familiar card, Stealth Strike. We know how that plays if you've played before in the past. This looks like a reprint, but with some different artwork. Costs 3 and as an attack. Hero action. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. If that enemy is defeated by this attack, remove 2 threat from a scheme. So his hero kit removes a lot of threat. It looks like it comes with 3 of these as well. It's nice that they send 3 copies with these. I know it's probably not optimal in a pre-built deck, but it is certainly nice when you can go build later and you get a choice of maxing out a number of cards in your deck. So breaking and entering, this is an event. Thwart, play if your identity has the spy or thief trait. Action thwart, remove 3 threat from a scheme. So cost 2 to remove 3. Spy or thief. Let's see what keywords we got here. So he's a thief when he's a hero, and he's a thief when he's an alter ego. So another way an alter ego if you have a spy or a thief, to remove threat. So these are cards that will have value outside of his kit. Other characters would do well with that. I could think of a couple. So we got 3 of these, like Spider-Woman, right? One of my favorites. Here we got Breaking and Entering. Then we have Passion for Justice, which is a resource card, max 2 per deck. So we got 2 of them. Interrupt. When you spend this card to play a thwart event, that event removes 1 additional threat. And I believe we've seen this one before. I haven't got a chance to play with a lot of X-Men yet, unfortunately. Only a few games, mainly with Cyclops, because I really like Cyclops. And here's another ally. So we have Professor X. We saw him before in the Mutant Genesis box, I believe. Sonic, X-Men, thwart 3, attack 0. After X enters play, choose 1, confuse the villain, stun a minion, or ready an X-Men character at the end of the round. If Professor X is still in play, discard him. Similar text to Nick Fury. Use him and then lose him. We have his home, the X Mansion. It is a location. We've seen it before too. Alter ego action, exhaust X Mansion, heal 1 damage from a mutant or X-Men character. Any player whose alter ego has the mutant trait may trigger this ability. Okay. Beauty and the Thief. Here's that team-up card. So Gambit and Rogue. It says max 1 per deck. Hero action. Attack thwart. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. Remove 4 threat from a scheme for 2. Wow. So a decent team-up card. I like it. Very nice. We have Hit and Run. That's a familiar card. It's got some different art than what we remember, but it also says that it's an attack and a thwart, hero action. Deal 2 damage to an enemy. Remove 2 threat from a scheme. It costs 3. Hit and Run. I like the artwork on there. That's pretty nice. Okay. And then we have Mutant Education. We get to go back to school. Let's see what happens when we go into class. Mutant Education. Event, play only if your identity has the mutant trait. So, mutant and alter ego. It says alter ego action, of course. Choose up to 2 identity-specific cards in your discard pile and shuffle them into your deck. If X Mansion is in play, draw a card. Okay, so nice. A little synergy with the X Mansion. So, I like that. That will be useful outside of his kit. Like that a lot, actually. And it costs 0. I love 0 cost cards. All right, so we have our Energy, Genius, and Strength that we've seen before. Timer 2. I like the new art on these cards. And now we have reached his obligation. So these are all of our blue cards. This is our deck. Should be 40 cards. I didn't count it, but that's what we use to play today. Let's take a look at some bad cards. I'm going to put these sleeves off to the side for now because there may be some more hero cards, extras that they give us. But I'm going to break out my Dragon Shield Jet mat. These are black sleeves that I really like a lot for my encounter cards. I also put it on my obligations. So guild business is our obligation today. Give to the Remy LeBeau player, alter ego action, exhaust Remy LeBeau, and spend an energy resource. Remove guild business from the game. It's going to do an extra encounter card as long as this obligation's on table, so you want to get rid of it quickly. I like these obligations that are not just everyday run-of-the-mill, exhaust your character, flip and exhaust your character. You actually have to do something. So some might stick around for a minute and deal you extra damage, extra cards. The villains will like that. Here's our Nemesis set. We have the Belladonna. She's a minion. Scheme of 2, attack of 3 with a star. She's an assassin elite, quick strike. So whenever she comes on the table, here you go. Quick strike. She has toughness, 5 health. Toughness and 5 health. She's going to stick around for a minute. Force response. After Belladonna attacks and defeats a character, place 2 threat on the main scheme. Wow. So not only defeating a character, but also ramping up threat. Let's see Grab some more sleeves here. What she has as far as her nemesis set, and this is her side scheme. Assassin's Guild is sworn to kill Gambit and the rest of the Thieves Guild. Force response. After an assassin minion attacks and defeats a character, place 2 threat here. And starts off with 4 acceleration icon, and it comes in with, and it's got 3 boost icons on it. Okay, then we have the Guild Assassin. Oh, okay, so after an assassin minion attacks, so not only is Belladonna an assassin, but she also has some friends that come with her. 2 assassins here that both have quick strike. Scheme of 1 attack of 2 with a star. After Guild Assassin attacks and defeats a character, place 1 threat on the main scheme. So following the lead of her leader is the Guild Assassin. And we have a nasty treachery here. Let's see. Assassination attempt. Treachery. When revealed, each assassin minion attacks you, even if you're in alter ego form. If there are no assassin minions in play, search the encounter deck and discard pile for an assassin minion and reveal it. Ooh. Okay, so it'll bring out, and it's essentially like having 3 of these Guild Assassins, really, if you don't have any on the table. So that is the Nemesis set. Not bad. We'll enjoy hearing that one being discussed in one of our favorite podcasts, Critical Encounters. All right, so stop. Here's your Gambit deck list. We'll set it off to the side for now. We like to hang on to those so we can build our decks later if we need to. And now we have some extra hero cards, and we'll need some blue sleeves for those. So here we have the War Room, max 1 per player. Response: after an ally attacks and defeats a minion, exhaust War Room, remove 1 threat from a scheme. I like it. War Room. We'll hang on to these over here. Okay, and then we have X-Men Instructions, so we have some basic cards. I wonder if they can be added to our deck right out of the gate here. Let's see. X-Men Instruction event, cost 0. Play if your identity has the mutant trait, alter ego, choose up to 2 X-Men allies in your discard pile. Shuffle them into your deck. If X Mansion is in play, draw a card. I really like these cards that allow you to draw cards and go find cards. And being 0 cost. That's pretty slick. I like it. So these are the extra cards, useful cards, that they've added on the back end of this kit. Now we come to our modular set. Modular encounter set. So I think that's all the hero cards. Yep, I'll just pack up my blue sleeves here that I didn't use, put them off to the side, and we have our modular set. It looks like it's 6 cards. Exodus Minion is the first one. He has a scheme of 1, attack of 1, Alkalite, Elite, Sonic, 6 health. He has Retaliate, and he's villainous. When revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for the Sonic shield attachment and attach it to Exodus. So I'm assuming there's a... Yep, there it is. We'll see it later. And shuffle. Okay, and he has 3... Ooh, he has 3 boost icons. Okay. That's pretty good. I think I'll add this to our deck today. This encounter set. Looks like it could be. Here's another 3 on this one. Herald of Avalon. When defeated, the player who defeated the scheme searches the encounter deck and discard pile for Exodus and reveals him. So another way to get this guy out onto the table. Oh boy. And again, he has Retaliate, Villainous, and when you reveal him, does this reveal him? And reveal him. So whenever you reveal him, you'll go get his shield. Ooh, let's see what the shield does. Okay. Sonic Shield is attached to a minion. Otherwise, Sonic Shield gains Surge. Attached to a minion. So this is what we're going to find to attach to him. It says, forced to interrupt. When attached minion would leave play, instead heal all damage from that minion and put it back into play. Then discard this attachment, and it gives him a +1 scheme and a +1 attack, and a full round of life back. Oh man, that kind of reminds me of MODOK, my man MODOK. Haven't seen the new movie yet. I hear he's in there. Gotta go see it. And he got 2 of these. Ugh. This is gonna be a tough set. And then we have Alkalite Frenzy. I haven't looked at the Treachery card yet. It says, when revealed, each Alkalite minion engaged with you activates against you. If you're not engaged with an Alkalite minion, this card gains Surge. So it's going to do something, even if it's just to replace itself with another card. And we've got 2 of these in here as well. You got to get that guy off the table. He's not going to go away easy. These things could quite possibly pop. So there is the modular set. And it looks like there are 6 cards in that modular set, and they are all ones that you don't really want to see. Oh, it's got a boost. You are stunned and confused. If you draw this card as a boost, could it get worse? All right, let's take our extra cards here, and we'll put those off to the side for now. And I don't know, you might recall recently on my channel that I put a survey out there, villain to play with, and I was kind of thinking that I might start a campaign, and I may still do that, but in the meantime, the one who pretty much won that one was Crossbones. So I thought I'd just use Crossbones tonight to play against Gambit. I really like Crossbones a lot. So Crossbones is a villain. Scheme 1, attack 1, Hydra Mercenary. When Crossbones has a weapon attachment, his attacks gain piercing. Discard any tough status cards from the target before dealing damage. So Crossbones is going to be our man tonight that we're going to take on with Gambit. We know that we're going to include this Exodus in his encounter deck. And we need to get a dial here for him. So he's going to be 12 hit points. Let's set the dial at 12. Here we go. Very good. All right. Are we doing okay here with the focus and everything? Let me see. Okay. Hopefully it wasn't waving in and out when I was going through all the cards there, but if it did, hopefully you still got a chance to read them. So here we go. We got Crossbones on the table, and let's take a look at his main scheme. So it's the attack on Mount Athena. Crossbones 1, Crossbones 2. So we're just going to play standard today. We're not going to go crazy. It says to get out the experimental weapons. So I have those here, I believe. I think I grabbed those. Yep, sure did. Here's all of our experimental weapons, and we make that weapons deck, remember? And so I'll push it off to the side just for now. Set it over here. Okay, so after experimental weapons, we have the standard encounter set. Hopefully I grabbed that. Yep, here it is. All of our standard cards. And then it tells us to use 3 modular encounter sets. So we're going to use the Alkalites. Alkalite Frenzy, which is Exodus, represents Exodus here. And then it also says to use the Hydra Patrol. We're going to exchange the Hydra Patrol today for the Bomb Scare. We got some guys, some bombers in there. We also have some bombers in his deck, you'll recall. So they work nicely together. So we're going to put the bombers in, and instead of putting in Weapons Master, we're just going to put in the big weapons. Why not? And we'll use the ransacked armory. So a lot of weapons in there. Ooh, those could get added to Exodus. Might want to rethink this one. Okay, let's put my minions off to the side for now. And also we have that guild business that we need to put out. And then here's our Crossbones kit. So we'll need to mix all these up. Bear with me while I shuffle. Okay. All right. How do you shuffle? You lay them all out? You do like the shotgun shuffle, or how do you shuffle your cards? One nice thing about these, and watch it happen as I'm talking about it. But one thing nice about these Dragon Shield cards is I've played thousands of games with these, and I have to replace relatively few. I guess I push kind of hard on the top sometimes, and so it kind of dents the tops in, so I can kind of, if it's a card like a standard card that I use a lot, I might be able to tell that it's getting worn around the top of the card because I squeeze it whenever I'm shuffling it like this. But other than that, these hold up really well, and I love the matte finish on the back. Whenever I was at the game store, the guy explained to me, he says, yeah, it looks like a star field, doesn't it? Kind of reflective. So I was sold. I like it. I like the matte finish. They draw nice. Hopefully this is nice and shuffled. It's probably not. I probably just stuck Exodus on top. Exodus will be at the genesis of my game, most likely. Bible reference. All right, so there's my encounter deck. It's all shuffled up. All right, let's read the rest of this card. It says create the experimental weapons deck. I already did that and set it next to the main scheme deck. I just put it off to the side here so I got some room. And see the rule book. Ain't gonna do that. Attack on Mount Athena. When revealed, reveal the top card of the experimental weapons deck. All right, so we'll set that there. Here's the experimental weapons deck, and I always draw the power gauntlets, it feels like. After the attached villain attacks and damages you, discard one card from your hand. Which one do you draw when you play against Crossbones? Which experimental weapon do you tend to want to draw first all the time? I seem like I always see this one, so I'd be interested to know about that in the comments. All right, let's just focus one more time. Maybe change up some coloration here. There we go. All right. So here's Gambit. I still got to shuffle him too. Sorry, folks. I'm just taking my time having fun. So here's Gambit. Here's our alter ego. He comes into play with 9 hit points on him. Okay, good. And as always, I'm likely, just because of the nature of me, to make mistakes in the rules. So I don't have any problem at all with you pointing that out in the comments down below. So if you see something I did wrong, especially with these brand spanking new cards, I'll try to go slow enough where you can follow along. If you see anything that I do wrong, please learn me. Teach me. Teach me what I did. All right. So shuffling up my hero deck. I don't know what to expect. A lot of thwarting. Looks like this one, attack on Mount Athena, schemes out at 3. Starts with 0, which is a good thing. But it doesn't take much to get past the attack on Mount Athena. And basically what we're trying to do is ransack the armory of Mount Athena. And Crossbones will bring his buddy Exodus and a whole lot of bombers. We're going to try to blow up this mountain after he steals all the goods. I ought to put the Power Stone on him, too. Nah. Let's not get carried away. All right. Let's draw up our hand size, and it is of 6. And again, we'll read his action. Exhaust him to look at the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. Discard one of those cards. Remove threat from a scheme equal to the number of boost icons. Probably don't need to do that right away. We definitely don't want to burn through that encounter deck too quickly, but it is pretty thick. There's a lot of cards in this encounter deck. Look at that. There's a ton. Just get one more shuffle. Where we start, draw up 6 cards. So we have Gambit Staff, nice to have early on. When an enemy attacks, exhaust Gambit Staff, deal 1 damage to the enemy. We have Creel Charmer, remove 3 threat from a scheme. Don't need to do that right now. Thieves Guild, it's a support after you resolve your Thief Extraordinaire, right? Exhaust, remove 1 threat from a scheme, and draw a card. Okay, that's the support we want. Hit and run. We have Charge Card. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. And remember, we got that ability where we can charge up Gambit on the other side. And we got Molecular Acceleration. Okay, good. So we definitely want to hang on to Gambit Staff, I think. That looks like a good one. And I also want to hang on to that support. They both cost 1. The Creel Charmer we don't need right now. Also, the Hit and Run, we don't have any threat to remove. We might want to think about getting rid of, so it costs a fist and a mental to get rid of that. Charge card. Yeah, we'll get rid of charge card for now. We'll hang on to molecular acceleration, and we'll draw 3 more cards. We got the royal flush, a stealth strike, yeah, and we've got molecular acceleration again. Ooh, I don't know how this is going to work out. Oh no. So I have both of my money cards here at the beginning. Boy, I wish they matched. That would have been nice. When you spend this card, place 1 charge counter on Gambit. So the Thieves Guild, after you resolve, remove 1 threat. So we're not going to draw any cards this time. But I think what I'm going to do so that I can start to charge him up is just go ahead and flip him over. I can place 1 charge counter here. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. And I think I'll spend a resource. So I got the stealth strike, which I'm not going to use probably. So that would be the mental resource. And do we have a physical resource? Ooh. I would have to use my molecular acceleration. So when you spend this card, do you spend it? Yes, you spend it. Place 1 charge counter on Gambit. So this is my only physical resources that I have. So I'll go ahead and discard this guy by using these 2. So he's gone. And I spent that resource there. So we'll add that to Gambit. So that's discarded. And then the Thieves Guild, Gambit Staff, Royal Flush. So 1, 2. The Royal Flush. You could do a lot of damage with this already, right? But I do want to put that staff out. Thieves Guild, Royal Flush. I'll spend both of these cards to put out both of these. Is that the right thing to do? I don't know. We got his upgrade out. We got his support out. We spent 2 resources to do that, which when you spend this card, place 1 charge counter on Gambit. So there we put another charge counter on him. So he's up to 3 now. Let's put him over here so we can kind of see what we're doing. Okay. He has 2 attack. I think we're going to do it. So we'll attack, and we'll do 2 damage to Crossbones. And we'll ready Gambit. When an enemy attacks, exhaust, deal 1 damage to that enemy. And then that one's in our alter ego form. So now we draw up 5, or hand size of 5. So we have the X Mansion. We draw the charged card. Also breaking and entering Professor X. And Mutant Education. Play only if your identity has a mutant trait. Choose up to 2 identity-specific cards in your discard pile. Shuffle them into your deck. If X Mansion isn't played, draw a card. We have X Mansion here. All right, so let's do this. We're going to add 1 threat to Mount Athena. Good. And wow, this is really bright today, it feels like. Try not to overshadow everything. Hopefully you can see this okay. All right, so 1 threat on Mount Athena. Crossbones is going to attack for 1, plus this card right here, which is 2. Crossbones Assault. So he's going to hit for 3. 1, 2, 3. And the Gambit Staff is going to go off when an enemy attacks. Exhaust Gambit Staff and deal 1 damage to that enemy. So 1, 2 Crossbones. Takes him down to 9. And now for the encounter card, which reads, attached to a minion, otherwise Sonic Shield gains surged. Force interrupt. When attached minion would leave play. So we read this one before, but there is no minion, so it's going to gain surge. So the Sonic Shield is going to go to the discard pile. We're going to draw a surge card, which is the Cornered Staff. When revealed, discard One per player cards from the top of the encounter deck. Place one additional threat here for each boost icon on cards discarded this way. And it starts with 3. So we discard this one, which is 0, and it's the assault card, so that's nice to get rid of. So we place 3 threat here. And we move on to Gambit's turn. So remember, I got the X Mansion here. It says exhaust X Mansion, heal 1 damage for a mutant or X-Men character. Any player whose alter ego has mutant trait may trigger this ability. It's alter ego action. So I also had that mutant education, which was an alter ego action. And we have the charge card, Professor X, breaking and entering. Remove 3 threat from a scheme. Oh, there's no way I can play. Well, I'd love to play all these cards. Wouldn't that be nice? After you resolve Thief Extraordinaire, remove 1 threat from a scheme. This removes the last threat from the scheme. Draw a card. I think what we're going to do is we are going to hang out over there in alter ego form for a minute. I like that idea. Yep, I think so. So Gambit, when you play an attack event, do I have an attack event that's worthwhile? Have this attack event. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. If Gambit's was removed at least 1, 1, and 1, so it doesn't really do anything. Range, piercing, and overkill. So I wouldn't have to remove anything to do 4 damage for 2. And then I could add 3 more damage to it. So I could hit him for 5 using charged card. But then I won't be able to do anything other than... Yeah. So I think what we'll do, I'll be boring. This is, I know, boring. So we're going to place 1 charge counter here because we can. I'll exhaust Gambit to remove 2 threat from cornered staff. Have to. Can't take it off of Mount Athena. And then if we flip over to our alter ego side, it says exhaust him, look at the top 2 cards, and blah, blah, blah. So I already did his thwart. But we can use the Thieves Guild now. And we can, after you resolve your Thieves Extraordinaire ability, I got to do that, Thief Extraordinaire ability. And remove a threat from the scheme. So that was probably not a good idea. I probably should have, instead of, we're learning, okay? So instead of using his ability here, it's probably a bad idea anyway. Why don't I flip here first? So we'll leave 3 on the cornered staff. We're learning, right? So look at the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. Discard 1 of those. Remove threat from a scheme equal to the number of boost icons on that card. So let's do it. 0 boost icons. 1 boost icon. And what do we do with it? Discard 1 of those cards. Remove threat from a scheme equal to the number of boosts on that card. So I guess I just put that other hard as nails back on top. Right? Is that how that works? Exhaust him, look at the top 2 cards, discard 1 of those, remove threat from a scheme, the number of boost icons on that card. So I only got to lose 1. But we can use the Thieves Guild. Now, when you have the crisis icon, does that mean that you cannot at all remove any threat off of the attack of Mount Athena? Because this is not a thwart action. After you resolve your Thief Extraordinaire, exhaust Thieves Guild, remove 1 threat from a scheme. This removes the last threat from that scheme. Draw a card. We'll just do this to remove 1 threat from there. And let's see what else we have in our hand. We've got Mutant Education. Choose up to 2 identity-specific cards. Your discard pile. Shuffle them into your deck. If X Mansion's in play, draw a card. Breaking and entering, remove 3 threat from a scheme. Professor X, charge card. Tell you what, let's put the X Mansion on the table for 2. We use Professor X and charge card to put the X Mansion on the table. Then we can use Mutant Education. because we have the mutant trait now. Alter Ego, choose up to 2 identity-specific cards in your discard pile, shuffle them into your deck. If X mansions in play, draw 1 card. Okay, so let's look for 2. Should I get the resources? Or should I go with the Royal Flush? Yeah, Royal Flush, and how about Molecular Acceleration? We'll put those 2 in there. Breaking and entering. Play only if your identity has a spy or thief trait. Remove 3 threat from a scheme. I think I'm just going to discard that. And draw up a new hand size. Oh, no, remember, I get to draw a card. Yeah, because it's exhausted. You know, I played Mutant Education. X Mansion's in play. Draw a card. So we get to draw the card. Don't want to forget to do that. Hit and run. And then we're going to exhaust the X Mansion to heal 1 damage. So puts me at 7. All right, very good. And I'm just going to discard both of these cards and draw up my hand size of 6. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get Cornered Staff off the table, and so likely the attack on Mount Athena is going to go off. Which means I'm going to get more of that experimental weapons over there. Place 1 threat? Well, it's definitely going to go off. So scheme for 1 plus star. Give the villain a tough status card if you cannot heal 3 damage from it instead. So he gets a tough status card. There. And attack on Mount Athena, threats out. Next, we are into the Infinity Stone. We found it. Nothing on here, so we flip it. When reveal the top card of the experimental weapons deck. So this one is an energy shield. By the way, I should have drawn my 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nothing in here that could have stopped or done anything with those actions there. So the energy shield is on the table. He has retaliate now. And I have to spend a energy and mental resource to get rid of this. Hey. Nope. Hey. Okay. Maybe. We'll see. Drawing the encounter card. And it is a false alarm. You are confused. If you're already confused, this card gains surge. I am confused, apparently. Okay. Okay. So the 6 cards I drew earlier was Operative Skill. Interrupt when you thwart, remove 1 operative counter from here. That thwart removes 1 additional threat. Oh, and this required me to put 1 threat on the Infinity Stone. Don't want to forget that. All right. So operative skill, we have Bishop, breaking and entering, stealth strike, royal flush, and molecular acceleration. Tell you what, let's do this. We're going to begin with our Thief Extraordinaire. So it's confused, so I can't thwart while I'm confused. Is that right? Ugh. And I have to spend 2 resources to play breaking and entering just to get around it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Let's maybe save some resources to get rid of this retaliate. So there's a mental resource there, and there's a energy resource there. So we'll hang on to these to potentially knock off the energy shield, which will give me some resources to use for an attack. Bishop. Cost 2 to remove 2 threat from a scheme. Put bishop out. I'm a little bit strapped for cash. Maybe I ignore the retaliate for now. And we do a little breaking and entering for 2. Yeah, let's do it. No, let's spend operative skill. Let's spend the 2 that we were thinking about, stealth strike and operative skill, to play breaking and entering, which removes the confused card from Remy. So now we can thwart. Look at the top 2 cards in your counter deck. Discard one of those cards. Remove threat from a scheme. Number of boost icons on that card. So we'll do that. Exhaust him. Draw 2 cards. There's a 2. And there's a 2. And I think we want to get rid of that obligation. We'll discard that. So we'll get rid of the cornered staff. And what that will allow us to do is do our alter ego response. After you resolve your Thief Extraordinaire ability, exhaust the Thieves Guild, remove 1 threat from a scheme. If this removes the last threat from that scheme, draw a card. So we'll get rid of this 1 threat off the Infinity Stone. And we'll draw a card, which is another breaking and entering card. And we get rid of our resources we needed. So, how about we put... Let's exhaust the X Mansion to heal for 1. Heal for 1. And then we put out Bishop. Let's put Bishop out. Put Bishop out. We'll flip. When we flip, we can put a counter. And then we can play the breaking and entering and molecular acceleration to put Bishop out. We'll hang on to that royal flush card. Yes, for sure. So Bishop's out. He's not going to do anything because there's no threat. And he can't really attack until he starts to get energy counters on him. So ready the X Mansion. Already Gambit. Gambit Staff. Thieves Guild and Bishop. And we'll draw our hand size of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. After Gambit defends against an attack and takes no damage, exhaust Gambit's Guild. Oh, this is upgrade. And ready Gambit. Okay. So we're not using that one now. None of these for any responses to his turn. Okay. So we place 1 threat on the Infinity Stone. Crossbones is going to attack Gambit. We will exhaust Gambit's staff to deal 1 damage to the enemy. And he's going to attack him for 1. Plus 2 is 3. So it knocks him down to 5. Okay, and this says response. After an enemy attacks you, place 1 energy counter here. So Bishop gets the energy counter. There he goes. And then we draw our encounter card. So our encounter card reads, Alkalite Frenzy. When revealed, each Alkalite minion engaged with you attacks you. If you are not engaged with an Alkalite minion, this card gains Surge. Surging into another Alkalite Frenzy. Remember our shuffle discussion earlier? And that leads us into an advance. So Crossbones is going to scheme for 1 plus 1 is 2. So now he's up to 3 on the Infinity Stone. Gambit's turn. Gambit's turn. I like the royal flush. We held on to that for a reason. Place 1 charge counter on Gambit. Deals 0 damage to an enemy, 0 damage to an enemy, 0 damage to an enemy. So, we're definitely going to try to pull that off. When you spend this to play a thwart. Let's see, is there any way for me to draw any more cards? Thieves Guild, Alter Ego Response, Gambit. When you play an attack event, remove up to 3 charge counters from here. Well, we're definitely going to play the Royal Flush. We're going to spend Beauty and the Thief, Operative Skill, and Passion for Justice to do that. Spend these 3, and this one says we spend it to play a thwart event. It's not a thwart event. So we place 1 charge counter on Gambit, and it says that when I do an action, I can remove up to 3 charge counters from here. And we're going to do 3, 3, and 3 onto Crossbones. So is that 3 different attacks? It's just 1 attack, but 3, 3, 3 damage. So I'm assuming I'm not going to take the retaliate for every 3, but I will hit him for 9, which will knock him all the way down to 0. Look at that, double 0. So stage 1 of Crossbones is defeated. And second stage comes out with 14 hit points. And it says, when revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for Crossbones machine gun and attach it to Crossbones. Shuffle the encounter deck. Let's go find that machine gun. Machine gun. There it is. Crossbones machine gun. Plus 0 attack. Comes with 2 ammo counters. When Crossbones attacks you, remove 1 ammo counter from this card. And discard the top card from the encounter deck. Take indirect damage equal to the number of boost icons discarded. There we go. All right, so he's up to 14. I have Gambit's Guild Armor. If I were to flip, can I flip? I didn't flip this turn, did I? How many cards did I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So I started off in hero form. So I can flip down. Certainly could. To my alter ego. And then we're going to exhaust him to draw the 2 cards. So it's 1 and 2. And there's 1 threat on there. So we'll remove 1 threat from the Infinity Stone. And after you resolve your Thief Extraordinaire, exhaust Thieves Guild. Remove 1 threat from a scheme. This removes one last threat. Draw a card. Does not. So we'll remove 1 threat from our scheme there. And nothing we can do with Gambit's Guild Armor on this turn. So I'll probably just discard it. We do want to do our X Mansion to heal ourselves for 1. And we'll ready everything. Discard that. And I'm going to draw me 6 cards. So I have Energy, and I draw Mutant Education, and I draw the Genius card, and I draw Natural Agility, and Stealth Strike, and Passion for Justice. Those are the cards that I draw. Okay. Nice, I have the X Mansion in play for that Mutant Education. So, Crossbones adds 1 threat. Now he's going to scheme for 2 plus 2 is 4. So it's going to threat out. So we add 4 to this. That threats it out. You know what? I should have taken a retaliate anyway because Crossbones was still on the table, right? And I attacked him, and even though I defeated him in a sense, he's still on the table. So, from what I've understood by what was explained to me in past recordings, is that I should have taken a retaliate, even though I knocked out one of his stages. He stayed on the table, so he still would retaliate against me. So that's the way it was explained to me. So that's how I'm going to play it. So I'm down to 5, and the Infinity Stone is done. We're going to set that off to the side for now. This is a blank text on the getaway. It threats out at 5. Place 1 threat on the getaway. And when it's completed, okay, I got to reveal the top card of experimental weapons. Top card of experimental weapons is my suit, experimental weapons, exosuit. Spend 3 different types of resources to discard. It gives him +1 scheme and +1 attack. So he's really ramping up on his attack ability. I gotta do something. This one's got to end. Please. Okay. I gotta do 14 damage. He's got retaliate. So on my turn, I am going to exhaust. Let me see if there's a card that allows me to go find. So I got that mutant education. Choose up to 2 identity-specific cards in your discard pile and shuffle them into your deck. If X Mansion's in play, draw a card. I do think I'm going to do that because I'm trying to draw for another one of those big booming royal flush cards, right? So we're going to play Mutant Education. We're definitely going to go try to get that royal flush back. And how about Molecular Acceleration? Probably overkill. Yeah, there's also some other damage cards too. That's 4 damage. Ranged would get me out of... Yeah, let's do that. Instead of putting in Molecular Acceleration, let's put in Charged Card. I think there are 3 of those in there, right? I can't remember. I think there is. So we'll shuffle those in. My deck's not very big, so there's a chance I could get one of those. And I really need to burn Crossbones down quickly now because that getaway is going to get away from me if I'm not careful. Okay, shuffled in. Because X Mansion's on the table, we'll get to draw a card, and it is a Creel Charmer. Remove 3 threat from a scheme. If this removes the last threat from that scheme, confuse the villain. We could confuse the villain. That might be handy. Remove 3 threat from a scheme, though. I would have to burn 2 resources to do that, but he would be confused, and that would allow me to hang out in this turn for 1 more round. It'll also allow Bishop to maybe do some damage. Remove each energy counter from him. For each energy counter discard. This way he gets +2 attack. So I could do 2 damage. That'll knock him down to 12. Stealth Strike, I can only do that in hero form. Remove 2 threat. Natural Agility when you defend. Let's do this. Let's with our X Mansion go ahead and heal ourselves for 1. I do think I'm going to probably try to hang out in this form for another round. And so what I'll do is I'll heal myself for 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll play the... I might just hang on to that Stealth Strike into my next turn too. So if I play Creel Charmer, remove 3 threat from a scheme. We use 2 resources to do that. And we'll use these. Actually, mental resources are harder to come by. So why don't I just use, to play the Creel Charmer, it's alter ego action. I'll remove that threat from there. Okay, and that's going to confuse him. Good. And then Bishop's going to attack for 2. We're going to remove this charge counter. It's going to actually do a damage to him for his consequential. Oh no, it's going to whack him all together. He's going to be knocked out. he's knocked out because he gets 2 damage done to him plus the consequential, or plus the retaliate. So yeah, but at least he goes down to 12. So that's a good thing. Okay. And so what have I got here? Anything good to play? Stealth Strike. I think we're going to hang on to, we're going to discard Natural Ability and Passion for Justice. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that. We're going to get rid of both these cards. We're going to draw 4 cards. Operative Skill. 1, 2, charged card. 3, Royal Flush. Yeah. And one more is another charged card. These cards avoid retaliate, right? Because they're ranged. I'll have to really think about this one. 4, 4, and 4. Okay, so nothing else I can do. Ready, Remy. Gambit Staff, Thieves Guild, X Mansion. Place 1 threat on the getaway. He is confused, so he will not scheme. And he's going to draw an encounter card, which is Herald of Avalon. When defeated, the player who defeated the scheme searches the encounter deck and discard pile for Exodus and reveals him. Shuffle. And it comes into play with 6 threat on it. So I really am getting to the point now where I've got to burn him down this turn. Can it happen? I don't know. So it's gonna cost me 3 to play Royal Flush. And then charge card. Actually, I think I got it. Because there's 3 for the Royal Flush. There's 2 for the charged card. We'll do the charged card first to avoid retaliation. And I think I won unless I have something that's defending him. No, nothing's defending him. So we're just going to flip over to our Gambit side. Let's heal before we do that. Oh, we're already healed up. We're up at 9. So, yeah. Well, could have done that. Thieves Guild. Because I've got enough to do 12 or 9 damage and 4 more damage, right? So it's not going to hurt me to exhaust him, draw 2 cards, okay, and it's going to remove 1 threat. So we'll discard Raid the Armory. Yeah, and we'll remove 1 threat from here. And then the Thieves Guild is going to exhaust to remove 1 threat from the getaway. And then I get to draw a card because I took the last threat off of there. So we got another Royal Flush. So we could do 2 Royal Flushes. Can't really because we don't have enough. Well, we might have enough resources. I don't know. Let's do it. So we're going to flip over to our Gambit side. We're going to put a charge counter on him. We're going to do a Royal Flush. Yeah, we'll do Royal Flush twice. So we add 1 charge counter to Gambit. Whip. We remove 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to do 9 damage with the Royal Flush onto Mr. Crossbones over there. And that takes him down to 3. And then we'll do another Royal Flush. Why not? Place 1 charge counter on Gambit. Remove 3. If I'm doing that wrong, let me know. I don't know if I spend these first and then I put the charge counter on because it's a win ability. Place charge counter, and this says win. When you play an attack event, remove up to 3 charge counters from here. Well, we had 3 charge counters on there already before. Now we've got, all we need is really 1. But we're going to remove all 3 to do 9 damage to Crossbones. That's going to knock Crossbones out completely. So my very first game with Gambit, I loved him. It was fun. I like his deck. Of course, I'm a Justice player, so I like Justice cards, and I like what the offerings are in his hero kit, because there are so many cards in there that as I was thumbing through, looking at those, when I opened the pack, that I saw that I could immediately slot into some of my other decks that I already have built. And so that's exciting, being able to use cards in the collection to enhance another deck. And I definitely see some of those. I'm liking the Mutant Education card. There's also other nice ones too that I saw. So what a fun game. What a fun day. What is nice to be able to open up some new product and get it to the table. And Fantasy Flight Games, I'm looking forward to what you're going to put out in the future. We know that it's coming. You warned us. You told us that there are things to look forward to in the future. So we're going to hold you to that. Look forward to some more X-Men getting released. Hopefully they're just as fun as Gambit. I haven't got Rogue in the mail yet. Hopefully Rogue will be in this week. I've got a couple packs coming in, and I got a couple packs coming in for giveaway. So hopefully you'll win those. You'll be able to find out if you tune into Critical Encounters. The guys over there are giving away some packs, and I'm actually sending them out for them. So listen to their podcast. It's great. It's one of the things that got me into this game. So appreciate you watching today. And like and subscribe if you want to see some of my videos in the future. And I look forward to bringing you some more videos down the road. So you have a good evening, and you all take care.